Welcome, and thank you for tuning into the human training your dog is begging you for. If you are needing help understanding your dog, their crazy behaviors, you've come to the right place. I'm Charles, and this is Laura Countryman. We are the co-founders of Canine Culture Dog Training here in Dallas. Good morning.
Good morning.
And as always, we have senior trainer and head of dog evaluations, Wyatt. Good morning, Wyatt.
Good morning.
Traffic put you off a little bit this morning?
100%.
Good Dallas traffic. So if you are thinking of moving to the DFW area or you live in the DFW area, don't live in Garland. We read something on the commute in this morning. Garland is the third worst city in America for commute.
But no one
Who would have thought? I mean, I knew Dallas sucked, but for traffic. But yeah, Garland, number 3 in the country.
Dallas has really good roads and good highways. And everyone has cars.
Well, I think it's because they're revamping 635.
Yeah.
Well, I think in 2 years when that's done, Garland will lead the list. But anyway, back to dog training. From training and behavioral and emotional issues, or maybe it's just the health and happiness of your dog. Our goal is to help you understand your dog better, learn more about creating behaviors that you would like to see more of in your home, out in the public, and hopefully, learn some tips to replace some of those behaviors you would prefer to see less of. And on today's episode, with summer coming up, Memorial Day weekend, holidays, people travel. So we thought it would be a perfect time to discuss traveling with your dog. Maybe you're taking them with you, or maybe you're boarding. So we'll talk about boarding first, and then we will discuss if you're going to travel with your dog, what are some of the things that you should consider if you are traveling with your dog.
That's very true.
So first up, you're boarding. My advice to everybody is think about 6 weeks in advance for boarding. Unless it's Christmas and Thanksgiving, then you really want to be about 2 months if possible.
If possible.
Because really good boarding places are typically full for the Christmas breaks and Thanksgiving holiday, at least a month out. Quite often 2 months out. We're usually a month and a half, 2 months out. If you want November Thanksgiving here, you need to call us in September. Yeah. But summer, that ebbs and flows depending on holidays. But think about a month out. Otherwise, you might get stuck boarding your dog at just whatever's available. And not all boarding facilities are created equal.
That's true.
So what are a couple of things that people should be looking at or considering or thinking about when they're looking for a boarding facility, Wyatt?
I would say just the kennel area, cleanliness. Is it well kept? Is it loud? Does it smell bad? How many times a day does your dog get walked?
That's a big one. You should ask that when you call. It's called a let out in this industry. They let the dogs out. We call it walks. I don't like the term let out because just doesn't sound like there's a dog involved in it.
Or it sounds like you let the dogs out and they're going to do whatever they're going to do.
I just don't like the term. So we don't use let outs here. But you would definitely want to ask, how many times do the dogs get let out and an opportunity to go potty? Most places 3 times. Once first thing in the morning, once around noon, and once in the evening. That's not nearly enough. If that's the bare minimum that they do, find a different place. Could you imagine only letting your dog out 3 times on Saturday? I mean, that's basically what you just did. Most good places 4 times a day. We do 5. We try to do everything a little extra here, so we're 5 times a day. So that's, one. And then you're right. Does it smell? Does the facility smell, but also does the boarding smell? And there'll always be, I guess, a little bit of, dog aroma, because you could have came in just right after a dog pooed. But is there a stench? That's what I'm really looking at. Yeah. That even if they're mopping right now, it ain't going to make a difference. And you would be amazed at how many dog training places and dog boarding facilities, the stench is so overwhelming. You smell it as soon as you walk into the front office.
Yes.
That's not even the kennel room. It's permeating everywhere. That's how bad the smell and stench is. That's not a place I would ever put a dog. Me personally, if you can't at least have your cleanliness in hand so well that it doesn't knock you over when you walk in the front door, no dog should be, you shouldn't be there. Because what I found is places that are like that, they're cleaning one of two ways. And this should be your question. How do you clean? Ask them, just explain. They know how they clean. There's a system that they're using. Do you use mop buckets? And if they say yes, every place has a mop bucket for a little spot cleaning here and there if a dog tinkles in the hallway or what have you. But if they're cleaning the kennels with mop buckets, don't use it. The second time you dip that mop bucket into the water, it's contaminated. So now you're just spreading feces and urine water and pretending you're cleaning.
Yeah. And then you're hoping nothing's in that feces
that
you're spreading to other dogs.
So now dogs can get sick. So it doesn't just stink, but dogs can get sick. But the kennel's not clean.
Yeah.
You've just spread diluted urine everywhere. But it's still urine. You've just spread diluted feces everywhere. Mop bucket. The only way to really clean with a mop bucket, I don't know, you'd have to use 10 or 12 mop buckets.
Yeah, you have to dump it out.
I don't know what it would be, but it's just not possible.
Yeah. Well, people just think a mop bucket magically kills everything that goes in that mop bucket, and it just doesn't work that way.
No,
just because even if it's bleach water, eventually it'll get so diluted, you're just spreading around whatever you just put into that bleach water because it's diluted enough the bleach isn't doing anything anymore.
Right.
You should also ask what they use to clean chemicals they use.
Yeah, you should ask what chemicals. Our sanitizing chemical that we use is called Rescue. It's what most vet hospitals use. We prefer it over others because it's not poison. It's a great sanitizing solution. We give 8-minute dwell time. That just means we spray it on, we let it sit for 8 minutes, and then we sanitize the kennel and pull all the chemicals off. One of the reasons that's important is I can't remember the other chemical, but there is a chemical that it never stops cleaning. So the trouble with that is if somebody's dog's laying on the concrete, because a lot of dogs like to lay on the concrete because it feels cool against their skin, that chemical is constantly cleaning. It can cause chemical burns to your dog's belly. When we first opened, we used one of those two chemicals, not knowing any better. And that's unfortunately what most dog boarding places use, or those two chemicals. I just can't recall off the top of my head what they are.
Well, the problem was it didn't even work.
And, every now and then we get sick dogs. So we switched to Rescue, and then we quit using mop buckets. We use a wet dry vac system. So we're just always pulling off. We're not pushing anything back on like a mop bucket.
Yeah.
I would say a really good question is what is their protocol when they do get kennel cough? Or some kind of
sickness, yes.
Because there's no stopping it. I mean, dogs have an incubation period that could be
15 days, and that makes it difficult.
Yeah, and it's not fair to expect a kennel place to never have it, but when they do get it, what do they do?
What's the protocol?
Does it spread through the whole kennel room like the plague?
Or can you isolate that dog? Because you can't give the dog back because they're traveling. Yeah. So where do you move that dog to make sure they're isolated, being taken care of, but also minimizing any exposure to other dogs? Perfect point.
Because when we had that old cleaner, it went through, we could watch it go from kennel to kennel.
Right.
Down
it was hard to get ahead of it.
We couldn't get ahead of it.
That's why we invested so much in our wet vac system.
Yeah. And do they not just do ISO room, they will take the dog to the vet? Because if they have upper respiratory something, that's kennel cough, but there's a whole bunch of them, they need to be on medication.
Right.
So are they willing to take your dog to the vet, or they just wait it out until you get back? I don't know if people do that.
Yeah, so you should ask about, any protocols for medical procedures or, like you said, what do you do if my dog gets sick?
Yeah.
Well, they should call you. But if they can't get a hold of you, then what's the step? And they shouldn't say, well, they should know exactly everyone here knows what to do.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't freak out if your dog does get sick from a
no.
place.
Yeah.
It's again, there's no stopping it. It does not matter. Even here
kennel cough is it's called kennel cough, but it's really just an upper respiratory infection.
There we go.
The trouble with that one is it's got a 15-day incubation period.
Yep.
And kennel cough or upper respiratory infections are not caused actually by the facility you have your dog in, a lack of cleanliness. Certainly it can spread because it wasn't adequately cleaned, but it can't start because of it.
Yes.
It's always one host that brings it in. And that 15-day incubation period, that's the trouble with boarding dogs. The dogs bring it in. You don't know because it took 12 days, 11 days, maybe 15 whole days, or maybe only 4 to present. And all of a sudden, dang, okay, get this guy isolated, sanitize this kennel, sanitize the 6 kennels, that are surrounding it just to make sure. So kennel cough, don't, like Wyatt said, yeah, you're right. Don't get upset.
Yeah.
It does happen.
It's
What you're really looking for in a kennel cough scenario is how many dogs got it. Was it just 1 or 2?
Mm-hmm.
Once in a while that happens. That means a dog that dog brought it in with them. Or is there 6, 7, 8, 9? Now they don't have a proper protocol in place.
Yeah.
Because it's spreading.
And another thing you need to know, you're going to get a shot for kennel cough, Bordetella.
It's called Bordetella.
But it's just like our flu shot. It is a strand, and there's so many strands of kennel cough that it might not be that strand that your dog's going to get. Just like if you get the flu and you got the flu shot.
Yeah, it's not like
you
a
might
polio
got the other version of the flu.
stops you from getting it. It's just either stopping you from that specific variant
or not get so sick.
Or maybe not get as sick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not like parvo or distemper. You get the shot, you don't get that. Or rabies, you don't get those. But
that's a perfect example. It's like our flu shot.
Yeah.
It might have helped, it might not.
So it's no one's fault. It's just hopefully they have protocol that they can
to minimize it.
Yeah.
And hopefully eliminate it.
One of the things I would ask too about all this, the sickness stuff, is do they have communal water bowls?
Yeah.
Oh God,
That
good
is a
point.
huge one.
Yeah.
If they have playtime, so if you're considering a place that has playtime, ask them, do they have water bowls out in the play? So don't ask the word community because they might be realizing that you're asking them something for a reason. Just say, what do they do for drinking when they're in play area?
Yeah.
There should not be a community water bowl anywhere in that facility.
No.
I mean, it sickness and fighting, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Nothing about that is a good idea.
That's how, just like us, we drink something from someone that got sick, we get sick. So dogs pass that through and they have a lot more saliva than we do when they're drinking. So every dog should have their own private water bowl, their own private food bowl. No
own
sharing.
Private toys, own private everything.
Yeah. And this is going to sound weird, but if they do have playtime and there are toys in the play area, a lot of places don't have it. We're a training facility, so we use a lot of toys. If you're looking for training too, how do they treat the toys? So we're weird. We sanitize our toys every single night because we want to make sure that dogs don't get sick. And if a dog was just chewing on a tug with me and then I let another dog chew on that tug, so we have 2 bins in every training field. Once that tug got dirty, so to speak, with that dog, it goes in the dirty bin and it gets clean. A lot of people don't think about that, but yeah, you should, if you're looking at training particularly, ask if they have toys, what's your cleaning process? If they say once a month, well, that ain't enough. Once a week, that ain't enough. I wish we didn't clean our toys every night because it is time consuming, but it's important. It really eliminates. I look at it like we take just about every precaution we can think of to eliminate sickness. So that way, when we have a dog present being sick, I pretty much know that dog brought it in.
Yes.
It's a no-brainer. The dog brought it in.
We also have bowls, special bowls that are throwaway that we are not relying on people to clean bowls correctly. We just have throwaway bowls that are made out of sugar.
They're made out of sugar cane.
Sugar cane.
So we use a KINN bowl, kin bowl. And like Laura said, it's like you just throw it away.
It kind of looks and feels like paper, but it's edible.
Right.
It's not gonna
so if a dog did eat it, we just, if the dog eats one, it's not a big deal. If they eat 2, it's really not a big deal. But then we give them back a stainless steel bowl after that because they're not supposed to be a meal. So we give them 2 shots at it. Most dogs just rip it up because it's fun to rip things up, and then we just pick up the pieces. Not a big deal. But those are great for water and food. That way, like you said we're not depending on a human factor of did they use the right amount of chemicals to sanitize the water and food bowls.
And then they get all those chemicals out of the food bowl.
Yeah. So then
a whole bunch of stuff.
If you use too many chemicals, your dog doesn't want to drink as much because they taste and smell all those chemicals in the water. Yep. So then your dog's not getting properly hydrated. That's why we use the kin bowl. They're only like 8 cents a piece. It's a lot cheaper than paying someone, and they are totally biodegradable. It's made out of sugar cane.
It's a good thing.
Hoses. So when you're asking how they clean their facility, ask if they use hoses. If they use hoses, run. Don't go there because they're just blasting.
Maybe like pressure washers.
Yeah. Or just a regular garden hose with a nozzle on the end. They're just blasting.
Pee everywhere.
Pee and poo. Yeah, they're trying to get it to go into the drain.
The more high pressure it is, the more it splatters and it aerosols.
It vaporizes aerosol. Now it's just floating everywhere. It's on everything. That's why a lot of places stink because they use hoses.
Yeah.
But mop buckets could be the culprit too. All right, you're going to need shots. You want your shots at least a week before.
That'd be good.
That way that Bordetella has time to kick in. 2 weeks before would be best.
Well, Bordetella is a 2-shot regimen.
Oh yeah, that is true. So don't plan. Yeah, there's 2 shots. The first one, then you go back, I think 30 days or
Something
2 weeks
like
later and get the second shot. Any reputable boarding facility is going to require a Bordetella shot, and then your normal vaccinations. Influenza, dog influenza, that one's optional. Some boarding places require it, so that's why you want to call ahead and find out so you have the proper vaccinations. We don't particularly require it, but we do encourage it. That one, the influenza, that's more of an issue in the South. Prescriptions. If your dog takes prescriptions, bring them and make sure that they understand, what the dosage is, when they're supposed to give it. If there's any dietary concerns, make sure they make a special note on your dog's run card. It's called a run card. That there is diet restrictions. They're allergic to something or can only eat X with Y.
If your dog has any of these, you should ask what their protocol is.
Procedure,
what do both those together is, because if they don't have one and your dog needs some meds a certain time every day, that might be a little concerning too.
Right. Yeah. They should have a system. Like we don't let everybody give prescriptions. Our kennel staff, it's the duty of one person to take care of that. That way they can't say, well, so-and-so is supposed to.
Yeah.
Especially if your dog's taking like trazodone or something like that. Your dog is just like a human. They basically become addicted to that drug. And if they didn't get it, now they're in withdrawal. So that's cruel.
And your dog's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah. Depending on why they're taking it. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying the withdrawal symptoms are bad.
Yeah.
It's not just the addiction side of it. It's literal pain.
Toys. Lots of places have different rules for toys. We'll allow 1 or 2 toys, but that's it. It just gets out of hand if you bring too many toys. But some places don't allow any outside toys.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Because some dogs need to chew. There's dogs that chew till they die. So they need, if not a toy, something to chew on
and occupy their mind while they're in the kennel. Yep. And then how big are the kennels?
I would say if you're going to bring a toy or even like a bed, don't bring your dog's favorite thing. Bring like 2nd, 3rd string.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Destroy
just
it.
in case it got destroyed.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, don't bring the $500 bed.
Yeah.
Or grandma's blanket.
A good boarding facility should have a cot available for your dog.
Oh, yeah.
We prefer you not to bring a bed here because we provide all the dogs with cots. They don't really need a bed. Shots, food. Bring food. It's amazing how many people drop their dog off and they're like, oh, I'm supposed to bring food? Well, yeah, it's your dog. I mean, frick. Yeah, bring food. That's like a no-brainer.
It might seem like it's more convenient for you, but the diarrhea, it's
not good.
So all facilities would feed your dog. It's called house food. If you didn't bring it, but now, like you said, they're going to probably get diarrhea because you changed your dog's diet.
Yeah.
And it's probably just mid-grade food. It's nothing crazy good. And they're going to charge you probably $5 or $8 or $10 a day for that meal, for those meals. So yeah, bring your own food. With food, don't rely on other people determining what a scoop is. So if you say 1 scoop a day, well, what's the scoop? Maybe your scoop is 3.5 cups.
Yeah.
My scoop is 1/4 of a cup.
Most people, it's a random cup you pull out of your cupboard.
And is your scoop heaping, or is your scoop level, or is your scoop not level? I mean, that's a big variance in amount of food that your dog's getting or not getting.
Especially over like a month.
Yeah. So if it's especially like a week or 2, if it's just 1 or 2 days, if they're off on their food a little bit, not a big deal. But if it's 2, 3 weeks or a month, it could be pretty substantial. We actually ask everybody that brings their dog in to have each meal in a Ziploc baggie. That way we know every dog is being fed precisely the amount that you typically feed your dog. We just dump the baggie in, throw the baggie in the garbage. We're taking away the equation, what's your scoop and what's my scoop? So I would recommend that to everybody whenever you board your dog, have a baggie for each meal. And label. You go ahead and label it. Monday morning, Monday PM, Tuesday morning, Tuesday PM. And when you get your dog back, there should not be any bags. But if you load up a whole bunch of 2-gallon Ziploc baggies and just send the food, you might get a bag back and go, oh my God, they didn't feed my dog. You know, we feed dogs all the time when we go by a rule of thumb on, weight, type of dog, blah, blah, blah. You could get a bag back because you way overfeed your dog.
Yes.
And now you're freaking out they didn't feed your dog. No, you're overfeeding your dog. So take that equation out of the scenario and just baggie each meal.
Yeah, I would err on the side of not overreacting to stuff like that. For your dog, hey, his first couple days he was a little scared. He didn't really eat.
Yes.
Yeah, because some dogs don't eat as much for the first day
I know
or 2.
A lot of places, every single day, doesn't matter if there's food in that bowl or not, they throw it out. And give your dog more food. So they don't have extra, but some places don't. You just got to communicate and ask.
Right. If you have an aggressive dog, then you want to ask, will they take it? And what I mean by aggressive is human aggressive. Most places will not board human aggressive dogs because they can't walk your dog. So in that scenario, you're going to be looking for a boarding facility that is got inside-outside runs. So that means they can let themselves outside and go potty while they're outside. Somebody's inside cleaning the kennel and getting them food and water. Then they come back in. Then they'll go in the outside and pick up the poo. There's really no human interaction. In fact, you would almost certainly be the person that put your dog in the kennel, and then you would come and get your dog out of the kennel.
Well, what it looks like is there's like an indoor kennel and an outdoor kennel with a little door.
With a doggy door in between the two.
You can shut the door.
Right. So that way
you can actually get the dog outside, clean, give their food, get them back inside, clean the outside. So there's no human contact at all.
Because that dog would not do well with that.
100%.
Yeah.
Another thing, if you have an intact male or an intact female, a lot of places will not take them.
Yes.
So make sure you I tell them on the phone, they'll know if your dog is intact male, obviously. Intact female, if it comes into heat, anytime close to it, it will not be able to be boarded except for a vet. So
that's
keep
a
that in
good
mind.
point. If you have an intact female, if it goes in heat, most places except for a vet will not board your dog.
Well, you need to ask what their policy is in case
it comes in heat while it's there.
1 weekend, you're out of country and your dog comes in heat. What are they going to do?
Right.
Because they're going to find a vet. I mean, you can't, because we take any intact males. So if we have intact males and a dog in heat, it is a recipe for babies and craziness and a lot of.
If it's not a training facility, it's not that big of a deal, so they might keep your dog. We don't, because we're a training facility and we can't have that female setting just the dynamic and getting all the dogs just up in arms and crazy.
But I would make sure if you have a female that might come in heat, because they usually come in heat pretty regularly every 6 months, but see how the tops of kennels are, because a male dog or a female dog can scale a lot higher than you think
Yeah.
you can scale to get to.
Yeah.
To
in
get
that
to
trip. So if they have open runs, the top's open, it's something's going over the top.
Yeah, they're
Well, and it's not just that. It's not just pregnancy. Dogs' legs can get stuck.
Oh yeah,
On
it
the
hurts us
kennel.
up. Yeah,
right
hurt
because they're trying to get over it.
It's
It's
a
a
really
lot.
bad idea, and it's not. Your normal dog would never do that, but they're so irrational.
Yes.
With
Right,
hormones,
because
they
that
do dumb
females in
things.
heat. Yep.
It's
It's
crazy.
DNA driven. They can't help themselves. So, all right. So now if you're going to travel with your dog,
Oh yeah.
I would say basically the same thing. Make sure you have all your shots.
Yes.
Different areas of the country have different,
Laws, rules.
viruses. Like in the
yeah.
South,
Yeah.
influenza, canine influenza is more prevalent. In the North, it's very a minor issue.
Fleas are more in the south.
Yes.
So make sure all dogs should be on tick and flea and all that.
Heartworm.
Yes. Another thing is
Up north in the cold, heartworm is not
nothing.
really
Yeah.
almost not an issue. In the South, it is.
Yeah.
So if you're going to the South, get your dog on heartworm before you go to the South.
Yeah. I would bring your own water from where you are. So water's different too, different places.
I can't remember the name of the West Coast one where the standing water has those
Amoebas. Yeah, they have
Amoebas,
amoebas
yeah.
in it.
Get your dog. It's like heartworm, but it's that coast has that.
Yeah.
issue
Yeah.
for some
So if
reason.
it's standing, stagnant water, and you're stop someplace, whether it's at home or on a trip, don't let your dog drink in it.
Yeah.
That's standing, stagnant water, and bacteria is growing.
Yeah.
That's how you get dog on it. I am having a blank.
I can never remember the name of it. I know exactly what it is. I just can't remember.
Giardia.
Giardia.
That's how your dog's going to get Giardia. Do not let them drink still standing water.
Yeah.
Even if it's a fresh rain, because that's typically always a mud puddle. So there's bacteria in there. It's just really bad news.
I would also have I would have their name on so many different things on their personal body, plus get a
chip.
Chip
Your dog, chip your dog, chip your dog. Just in case he got away and you're in a new state.
Like an air tag as well, something you could actually track, not wait for him to find a vet somewhere.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to track your dog now.
Yeah.
I would say if you are going on a trip, it's like going on a trip with kids. You have to plan your whole trip around your dog.
Yes.
Exactly. So now you need to know, all right, is your hotel dog friendly? I'm sure you've already determined that. But are you going to take your dog to every single thing on the vacation, or are there times that you're going to expect your dog to stay in the hotel? That's fine, because you're probably not going to take your dog to every single activity. But will your dog do okay in the hotel, or are they going to start barking because they're having some low anxiety?
Yeah.
If that's the case, you might not have a hotel room when you get back.
Yeah. You might want to research dog daycares around where you're going. Like if you go to the Disney parks, they actually have kennels that you can leave your dog in. I think a lot of parks have those. But you might, if your dog's great at doggy daycare, research doggy daycares. Different places.
Find a couple good ones so you got them all lined up before you get there. While you guys are going to spend the day someplace, your dog's having his vacation too.
Yeah.
And random stuff happens. Like maybe your dog doesn't like your in-laws for some reason, and that's where you were planning on living for 2 weeks.
Or they just didn't get along with the other dog.
The in-laws dog, you know, maybe you should already have a place set up that you could
as a backup
go there.
Yeah.
Right.
It happens.
Yes.
Or maybe their kid's definitely afraid of your dog and no one knew about it or something.
But then the same thing, make sure you have lots of tags and means to track your dog, because you're at somebody's house. Their backyard was not as secure as everyone believed it was, and then your dog got out.
And if you're going, like what I said, going to someone's house to do whatever, bring their crate.
Yeah.
Break down their crate, bring their crate so they have their own home, and put it in a very dark place so they can just relax and mellow out and not be stressed. Because it's stressful for most dogs. I'm not going to say every dog, because our dogs love dogs to come and play with them at their house, which is very odd. Even the random neighbor's dog that comes over all the time named Gus.
Yeah.
And the owner's not the happiest. But anyway.
He gets out of his yard all the time and comes to our backyard.
Yeah.
Oh, Gus is back. Any other things you can think of that we didn't chat about traveling with your dog?
If you're going to do a big, long road trip, test it out first. Or the same way with your dog places. Leave them there for a couple days while you're in town.
Right.
to test it out. So if your dog has a mental breakdown because it doesn't like this facility, you don't want to do that while you're in an airport.
That's true. That's
a great idea.
Test out everything you're going to do before you do it, like a hotel room. Go rent a hotel room in your hometown.
See how he did.
See how they do.
Yeah. Or make a weekend trip somewhere.
Or something.
Yeah.
Something that if it all went sideways, you could go back home.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Yeah, that's a great point, Wyatt.
I would test everything out.
Yeah, because you don't want to spend
if it's your first trip, because you don't know how your dog's going to do. And you don't want to ruin your vacation because of that.
Yeah.
Now you're coming back. If you do plan on flying with your dog, unless you have a service dog, they're not legally allowed to fly with you. They're really cracked down on emotional support animals, so they typically can't fly anymore. If it's a small dog that can fit in a carrier, you can take that dog on a plane without, any restrictions as far as like emotional support, service dog,
you
etc.
just pay whatever the fee is.
Yeah, but they can't bark nonstop. Otherwise, that ain't gonna work. If you're flying and you plan on putting your dog in the cargo hold, my advice is don't. If it's especially if it's summertime, because just think about it. You're sitting on the plane. We're waiting for everyone to get seated. It's mildly warm and a bit uncomfortable. Once you're flying, the AC is kicking. You're good, but there for a little bit, it's mildly uncomfortable when you're on the tarmac. Well, they are running AC. Imagine if you were a dog in the cargo hold below. There's no AC there, ever.
Oh, yeah. I've loaded airplanes, and it is loud. They're
extremely loud.
There's no restraints. Everything shifts around in there.
And it's no climate control. So in the summertime on the tarmac, it could be 100+ degrees in there. And now, all of a sudden, 12 minutes later, you're up in the sky. It's 26 degrees in there because now it's cold.
And it's not like
super loud.
Strap your kennel down flat to the ground. No, it's just thrown in there on top of stuff, under stuff. It is not the nicest place to put your dog ever.
No.
And some people at airports tease dogs. Nice. They're not nice to dogs. So we would never fly our dog in a cargo hold. We're just going to take an extra day and drive.
Yeah.
Full on traumatized, messed up for a long time.
Right.
Like that little dog that would.
Oh yeah. And they got as a puppy, it was shipped to them from I don't remember where, but that is a grown dog. It traumatized
the dog for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
If you have a squishy face dog, bulldog, English bulldog, French bulldog,
sometimes no go.
Most airlines will not allow you to fly with that dog in the summer because of the heat. They can't breathe well, so to limit their liability, they won't let you fly with that dog.
Good rule of thumb, though, it's don't make risks with those smushed up face dogs. They are fragile.
They are very fragile.
Well, all right. Well, hopefully, if you were planning a trip, what we went over helps a little bit. Just plan ahead. And next week, what are we going to be talking about next week? So next week, we're going to start a 4-week series. Each week, we'll be talking about a different one, obviously. It's going to be on the types of dog trainers. So next week is purely positive training.
Woo-hoo.
Week after that will be balance training. Week after that will be compulsion-based trainers. And the week after that, rewards-based trainers.
Ooh, cheesecake.
Join us next week while we talk about types of dog trainers. We'll kind of talk a little bit about each one each week, but there will be a focus. It's kind of hard not to talk about one and not mention the other. But next week's main focus is going to be purely positive training. If our discussion helped you, we hope it did. Feel free to reach out to us at k-9culture.com. And if you are looking to get some behaviors changed with your dog, we'd love to help you and your dog have a better relationship together. So reach out to us. We'd be thrilled to be part of your dog's training journey. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. K9 Culture Dog Training DFW is our handle on those two. And until next week, go have fun with your dog.